Tyndall Creek. Yep. Tyndall Creek Junction is separate pass trail. Mesa, Diamond Mesa.
Alright.
I could go on and on.
Alright guys, a couple nights ago you got to witness us pitch this tent and a pretty good storm in a hurry. And tonight here we are again. We got a little bit of weather falling on us and we wanted to go through a few points should you decide to pursue this kind of camping in the winter. Things to look for in a tent to keep you warm and dry and happy in these kind of conditions. Right now we're about 3/4 or half a mile north of the ranger station on Tyndall Creek. In the background you might be able to see a little bit of Diamond Mesa. Earlier today we shot some footage up on the place over there.
Bighorn Plateau.
Bighorn Plateau, as I've been reminded by my counterparts.
There you go.
And the storm was coming in. Well, here we are about 2 hours later. We're starting to get flurries. You can no longer see Forester Pass behind us. And once again, we have our mountain hardware tent, which we've used on more than one occasion. It's kept us very happy. Things to look for in a four-season tent that's ready for the winter. You want poles that cross at the top, and that pole system should also keep the walls of the tent taut, so that condensation or anything else that would build up would roll off smoothly. That goes for the fly as well. You also want to see on your fly and your stake straps a way of adjusting them. As your fly gets wet and then dries, it'll slacken and also get taut again. You want to keep this surface taut so that powder and snow and rain buildup will roll off easily and not build up in puddles, saturating the membrane and then getting that water inside your tent.
Got that right.
The other thing to look at the floor of your tent, you want it to look like a bathtub. You want it to be reinforced. You can see here how there's a blue section that terminates up into a gray. And there's two different types of materials here and they're treated differently. One is able to breathe a little more than the other, whereas the other, the blue bottom section, is basically in its original state, water impenetrable. As they get older, they lose their ability to block out moisture, but you can treat them. The next thing that is probably priceless. Priceless for a four-season tent.
Bad weather.
Bad weather. The old guy's in there talking. Bad weather.
Be nice to the cook.
Is your alcove. This tent has an exceptionally big alcove. The night that you saw where we got all the weather, we had one pack and all of our food and gear in the alcove and the tent, and we still slept comfortably. This tent is designed for 3 people. We sleep shoulder to shoulder, myself being the biggest, take up the most amount of room, but they're pretty good as far as their ratings. Just be ready to be snug. Let's take a look on the inside. Now, as we open the door, get you guys a glimpse of how we live out here. Okay. You see we have 3 pads, side to side, a big alcove on the opposing side. Let me move this back a little bit for you. Okay. Okay. Couple other things we forgot to discuss earlier. In addition to having one entrance with a great alcove, you can't really put a price on having 2 entrances. All our gear goes on the other end. We come in this side. Our booties and our clothes stay at the bottom of our feet, ready to go when we're ready to go out the door. And as you can see in this situation, we're cooking in the alcove. We're able to sit in our tent, get our nice jackets on, crawl in our bags if we want, and stay warm. They're trying to cook food, so we're gonna...
Roasted garlic mashed potatoes. Freaking awesome.
We're gonna move inside the tent a little bit, change this up. Okay.
Spot?
Okay.
Spot.
If you'll notice,
Oh, I want some of that.
on the roof section, there's more than one place to put all your goodies. As you see, we got a Sierra cup, a couple contact cases, a knife, and a flashlight on that end. Sometimes on the side where I am, we'll put our socks. Here you see a roof opening. This is also invaluable. As you cook in a tent and as you respirate throughout the evening, you create a lot of moisture in the air, which will condense as it gets close to the sides of the tent where the air is cooler. That'll create a lot of water vapor, or water rather, that will roll down the side of the tent and get the bottom of the floor wet. So you always want to keep your doors cracked to the top, and also a roof section open. A couple other things that we have in here that are nice: large pockets that go along the side of both sides of the tent, and it has like a section on the floor on the side here where you can put extra clothes and gear and stuff that can be on the ground and won't be damaged by moisture. Alright, so we're going to switch around to the other side. If you'll notice our zippers here, there's an upper and a lower zipper so that you can open the top section of the door and allow the steam from the stove to come out, so that you're not just steaming up your tent. That way you have a lot more options as far as how you want to use your doors. What's for dinner, dude?
Macaroni and cheese. Mashed, what is it? Roasted garlic, mashed potatoes, and some ramen for filler.
Anything you want to say?
Whoa, not right at the moment.
Stove died.
I just wanted to add that this jet boil group stove works great for making large amounts of food. I want to add also that the little jet boil we use a lot for coffee and for the mashed potatoes and
just
for heating up water in the morning.
Perfect size for top ramen.
Perfect size for ramen. A single person. The nice thing that Matt didn't, one of the nice things I like about all the pockets that Mountain Hardware puts in their tents is it keeps me really organized. I can keep all my electronics up high off the floor, my paperwork on the other side. The pockets that are up in the ceiling are wonderful for hanging socks if they're wet. Quick access to things that you're looking for, like the flashlight in the middle of the night. You know it's right up there, it's hanging down. You can grab it. We store our boots out here, keep them out of the weather and out of the tent. There's not a whole lot of room. When we put 3 people side by side, we've got about maybe 6 inches at either end. So we want to keep boots out here, any packs and gear that are sensitive to the weather. Pretty much water as well. The tent walls should be, I find, crank it up, as vertical as possible. The more vertical your walls are, the more room you've got to roll around in inside the tent. Let's see if this is ready. So, almost. A good tent for at least 3 season use. I know a lot of people want to go as light as possible, and that's very commendable. But as you can see right now, this is the third week of May, and we're getting hit with the second snowstorm in a week. What, 10 days?
Oh, less than that.
Less than that.
We got hit 4 days ago.
So
5 days ago.
It's very important that whatever tent you've got allow you to weather the storm without the rain or snow being blown in underneath. I know people like to go with tarps and so forth in lightweight tents, but we've watched some of these really lightweight ones simply
collapse.
The wind, if they don't collapse, then the wind will literally pull the fabric right off the tent. The stakes oftentimes hold in because they'll freeze into the snow. But where the guy line attaches to the tent can literally rip right off, the sill nylon or whatever it is called. Some stoves don't have a simmer. So that's what we're working on right here. It's either full on or full off. Yeah, take it down with it. But as far as tents go, that's great. Now as far as pads go, we have 2 different types of pads. One's made by X-Pad, the other's made by Stevenson's Warmlight. We're comparing them. The X-Pad is a Swiss design distributed out of Seattle. Stevenson's Warmlight's from back east. I think it's New Hampshire. A wonderful company, been around forever. That's this orange pad you see here. Both do not allow you to inflate the pads by mouth. You don't want the moisture from your lungs to get into the down. They're down-filled pads. Fantastic. As long as they're inflated properly, you don't feel the snow. Matter of fact, if you've got a 0-degree bag and you're sleeping on one of these, basically you can go down to 10 below. It adds a thermal value. I don't know what the R value of the pad is, but it's significant. The X-Bed we're really thrilled with. We've got some problems with the Stevensons, but they're working it out. But a good company all in all. Stoves we've talked about, some of the stuff we've got in here. Satellite phones, radio GPS units, so that we can stay in communication with each other during the day. Don't leave those out in the pack. One thing about electronics is you've got to be sensitive to the fact that cold weather will affect the batteries. Now that's about it. Pretty cozy. Works good.
Dinner time.
It's getting to be dinner time.
So, bottom line is, if you want to fall asleep with a view like this, get a better tent.